Hey, folks. Folks, if I can just have your attention briefly, I just got word from upstairs that they are just wrapping up right now, so this is your 2 to 4 minute warning, and we'll get started. Thank you. They got annoyed last time.
Matt, I need a list of the members. Huh? Where's the list of members? It's right here. Okay, great.
How are you?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. My name is Mark Takano. I'm a senior member of the Education and Workforce Committee. I'm accompanied by Representatives Wilson, Raskin, Moore, Sewell, Casar, Beyer, Elfreth, Johnson, Escobar, Stansbury, and Goodlander. I'll give you a brief readout of our meeting and then open up for questions. We've just met with Secretary of Education Linda McMahon to demand answers on the Trump administration's illegal actions to shut down the Department of Education. We came today to cut through the misinformation and chaos that this administration has intentionally sowed to get at the truth. And here's the truth. Executive orders are not laws, and they do not have the power to create laws. Only Congress can do that. The Department of Education was established by Congress 45 years ago. It cannot be closed without congressional action. That is illegal. Despite Secretary McMahon's assurance to senators during her confirmation hearing that Congress is legally required to be involved in any major structural changes to the department, her actions, along with those of the president, have consistently contradicted both her own words and the Constitution. So we have come to her, and today we demanded answers about the department's timeline for closing. We asked about how civil rights would be enforced with a drastically cut Office of Civil Rights, what cuts to early childhood education programs would be enacted, and how students would be guaranteed their right to a free and fair and equal education. We asked to be given details on contract cancellations, the gutting of federal staff, and the choking off of federal funding. So let me just say, I'll depart from what my prepared remarks were and report just very briefly on what actually happened in the meeting. I have to say that the Secretary indicated more than once that before she moved any functions of the department to other departments, any other place, that she was looking carefully at what the statute allows her to do. That was refreshing information that the Secretary conveyed to all of us. And we certainly hope that she sticks to what she said to us today, that she is looking to what the statute allows her to do. For a generally lawless, extra-constitutional, extra-legal administration to the top, the words from this Secretary were much different than I had expected. We did ask questions about how civil rights would be enforced, that the largest civil rights enforcement entity is in this very department, and it has been reduced substantively by actual dismissals of personnel. She again, left me with the impression, and left many of us with the impression, that she was still considering the matter of how she would move, say, OCR to HHS, or maybe even the Department of Justice. Not clear about where that stands. I'm going to end my comments here because I have many colleagues who were in that meeting. I invite your questions, and certainly I invite my colleagues to respond as they feel, most authoritatively on what questions they could answer. So I'm going to end my comments here, and so any questions you may have. Yes?
Did the Secretary say anything about student loans and how she plans to move those out of the department, and any plans to change existing federal programs?
Colleagues, anybody want to respond to that? Go ahead, Frederica.
She's going to transfer student loans to the Small Business Administration. And as we stand here, they're dismantling the Department of Education. It might sound so systemic, or they're using a good approach, but I am in shock that after all of these years, and we know what will happen to young children. I'm a school principal, a school administrator, a school board member, and I know what happens when schools do not have oversight from the federal government, when states do not have oversight for the federal government to educate their children. I'm from Florida, and my governor is trying to privatize every school, ban books, and disallow children's identity. So for the Department of Education to be dismantled is going to be a shock to this nation, because schools are the bedrock of this country. When schools are working, our country is moving. What happened during the pandemic? During the pandemic, everyone was at a standstill until schools opened. And when schools open, then everyone is moving. So that's what's supposed to happen to student loans.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you feel more or less comfortable with how the department is going about moving these different parts of the administration after speaking to the Secretary of Education?
People are in panic. People are afraid. Parents are afraid. Children are afraid. We don't know. Everything is, this is what we think. This is what might happen. This is how we do it. And the secretary herself doesn't know. She's not an educator. She's using the people who work in this building to help her move through this process. But we asked her if she would keep us informed as they went along.
Yeah, go ahead,
Thank
Veronica.
you. I think something important for everyone to know is that the overarching theme with the various functions, we're cutting the bureaucracy, and we're going to send the money to the states. That was the overarching message. I will say it was really refreshing to be able to sit in a room and ask our questions. We are all very grateful that she took the time to respond to our letter, and she allowed more questions than what we had planned for, which is a great sign, and we hope to continue the open lines of communication with her, and we're grateful for that. But when you cut the bureaucracy, especially in the way that this administration has done, the consequences are always bad. We are hearing from our constituents about the cuts to the IRS and the long wait times to talk to someone. We're hearing about the same thing with Social Security. When you cut the people who administer the programs, when you cut the people who provide oversight for contractors and for how the money is spent, there is no doubt that the recipients of those programs will be negatively impacted. The other component that is terrifying for those of us in red states is we have governors who may not want to administer the money, or they will use the money in a way that is punitive to districts and communities they don't like, and rewards communities and districts that they do like or who are politically aligned. We're seeing that retribution form of government from the Trump administration every single day, every single hour. The other source of concern for those of us in Texas and in other red states is what we've seen with healthcare funding. In Texas, when it comes to Medicare funding, for example, well, the state of Texas uses poor communities like El Paso, which I represent, to pull down federal funding, then decides we're gonna send the money to communities using a different formula, and they make up whatever formula they want. the federal government is the great equalizer, making sure that kids are protected, making sure that the money is going where it needs to go. So the idea that we're going to cut the federal bureaucracy, the literal translation of that, and what the American public should expect, is that we're cutting the oversight and we're cutting the ability to ensure that the money gets where it needs to go, even if the money stays put.
Next question. Yes, go ahead.
Two questions, if I may. One is, was there any indication of any oversight that would be required, or is the money just going to the states and then the federal government hands off? That's question one. And then the second one is, maybe this will be for Congressman Raskin. Does this meeting change the court cases that are on?
Okay, I'll take the first question and then call on Mr. Raskin. I think very unclear. She kept talking about money going back to the states. She distinguished between Title I and how Title I is administered, but we didn't get into, which I certainly hope, there'll be more groups going to see her after this, about block granting. I think that's a big concern reflected by many colleagues already, is block granting money so that governors will have discretion, inadequate oversight over how money gets spent, the elimination or drastic reduction, the skeletal crew that remains with OCR. How are students with disabilities going to have their right to a meaningful education under IDEA? How is that going to be enforced? There are parents of students with disabilities all across this country who are very scared about their students not getting served by school districts. And of course, as Veronica Escobar mentioned, the federal government is the great equalizer, making sure that every child has a right to a meaningful education, whether that child has disabilities, whether that child comes from a certain religious background, whether they come from a racial background, a gender. That's what OCR is charged with doing and what Congress set up. And it's no mistake that they have regional offices where inspectors go out to the schools to ensure that those rights are being enforced and are being delivered on. And that's what is exactly regional office.
I told us. Hey, it's on the other side of the courthouse, so just walk it. Yeah, go to the front.
We're just going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes because I know there are people straggling with the weather. Yeah.
Thanks for coming out on this beautiful day. What we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Steve. I'll grab your card then. So where are you flying from? We're sexy. Yeah. Yeah. That's, you know, like Ball Harbor Mall? Where all the front marks? It's a great mall. Yeah, they really got it nice over there.
We fixed that ourselves.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm the welcome. No problem with you guys being here, but we definitely can't block this door. So, no, I mean, like, we need to move so that we're not blocking.
So can we push it back a few feet?
Yeah, yeah. This is an emergency exit, so if something were to happen, gotta be clear. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Any issues with moving this back just a few feet?
Or maybe if we can well,
Yeah,
you're still on the overhang here.
So maybe just
Yeah.
2 feet.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you.
I will.
Because I know the first thing I have, my boss will walk by and be like, what's going on? Why are they? And we'll take care of you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask what this is about? What this is for? Is it, but they say that it was the kids were too called. Okay, so I don't know what that is all about. It's calling for a building. Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you very much. And you know what? If you want, before you leave here today, go to the information desk outside and go get my card. Just no funny, like when you play media, so that we know you're coming. We'll make sure we have space for you. You know, I'm never going to say
I tell them it's like summer or Roca.
Flashlights, I don't know.
Yeah. She's probably gonna do
My wife gets the new bottles. I just give you all those.